What's happening, you guys? It is your boy OMD Dex 300, Dexter Davis, aka Doc Savage, the man of bronze, and it is February the 4th, 2025, and the truth will be told and never be sold. Definitely, the truth will be told and never sold. And it is your boy OMD. Welcome to the Corner Store Podcast. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. This is episode 139 of the Corner Store Podcast. And basically, I'd like you to do me the hugest favor. Hit that like button. Also, hit that subscribe button, and, as well as the notification bell so you'll know whenever the Corner Store Podcast is on the air. Lots to get to today. The criteria of this podcast is Trump regret. All these voters out here, there's protests going on in California. So many protests that they're shutting down freeways. Kids are walking out of school, just up and walking out of school, having protests all over the place. They're shutting down freeways. Highway patrol, police are coming out in force, trying to stop people from blocking streets and stopping people from being able to go about their day. But I just want to say, I applaud you. I applaud your efforts. But I also got to say this too. I have to say this too. I am amazed. And I am amazed. No, you're not great. You're not great. I have to say this. I don't understand. I don't understand how people could have voted against their conscience like this. I don't understand it. How could you vote against your conscience like this? I find myself doing podcasts lately that are very political, not political in the sense of me being political, but these are the things that are going on today. These are the things that are going on today. One of the hottest topics right now is politics and the dude that just got voted into office. I can't, friends of mine, we're talking black people, Hispanic people. I have some Hispanic friends, yes. Matter of fact, quite a few. I didn't really discuss a lot of politics with them, only a couple of them. But I did discuss politics with black people who I've been known for many years, long time. And it blew me away. It absolutely blew me away knowing how they felt politically against the Democratic side of the ticket for the presidency. I was surprised how many brothers didn't want to see a woman in office. Now let me start by saying this first off and foremost. I had no affinity for either party. I've made that quite clear on this podcast that I have no political stance, whether they be left or right. Do I lean more left? Yes, because the left side, though corrupt as well, seems to be the saner position. The saner position, not the insane position, the saner position. You heard what I said. And I have to say this. I have to say this that the Democratic side, the left side of the political spectrum, is the saner side, though just as corrupt as the right side. The right side has gotten to the point where they're not even conservative anymore. They're fascists. They are fascists. Now, some of the most horrible, vile people in America, and it's absolutely laughable. It's absolutely laughable, the government that we have right now. Absolutely laughable. People voted against their interests, and now you're seeing your family members summarily being thrown out of the United States. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if Trump's in office for 4 years, if they don't impeach him, your family member, if they happen to be taken to a concentration camp, which they're setting up now, not in the US, Guantanamo Bay, Cuba is where they're setting up these concentration camps. If they happen to send you there, if they happen to send your family member there, you're not going to get back in the United States of America. And that's fact. That is an absolute fact. But fear not, no one's coming to rescue you. Grocery prices are not only going to skyrocket, taxes are going to even getting higher for the little man and little woman in the world. They're they have solidified now. Yes, they have solidified now that there will never be a middle class in the United States again. They have created haves and have nots when it comes to this world now. It's all have and have nots, no doubt about it. So don't bitch and bellyache and cry about it now. People were trying to warn you. People were trying to tell you, look, if you vote for him, all your fucking rights are going to be taken away from you. All your rights. Now, there's people still sitting at home right now that's got a job and paying their bills. And, if they did vote for him, they're sitting there thinking, well, he ain't going to do that to me. I'm fine. My taxes are paid. My mortgage is paid. My car note is paid. My kids are in school. We even had them dressing up like Trump during Halloween. You'll see. The man's only been in office for less than 2 weeks. He ain't even been in the office 30 days, and he's causing turmoil, threatening our neighbors, Canada and Mexico, with 25 and 30% tariffs, which he summarily had to take back because they wasn't playing ball with him. They were actually doing all the things he asked them to do already without even the tariffs. Let's listen to some sound right now, and these are coming from different political affiliates all over the United States in regards to Donald Trump. And here's some of that sound now. This is CNN. Now, this is what I'm talking about. Hey, shout out to David Austin. Salute to you, David. Thank you for being here on the podcast. This is what I'm talking about. This is the stuff that I'm talking about. He makes all these threats, threaten our neighbors. Now, these are our allies. He threatened our allies with 25% tariffs, saying that Mexico and Canada, who were in NAFTA, by the way, which is a national trade agreement, that trade agreement was created back in the day when Bill Clinton was in office and has been around for over 25, 30 years, maybe even a little longer. And he made all these threats and asked them for these so called concessions, which they were already doing. What the hell is wrong with you? I don't. What pissed me off is all you goddamn people out there that voted for this dude. All I heard from people was a friend of mine. I'm gonna leave him nameless because that's my dog, and I've known him for over 20 years. And I was like, "What you?" He actually, dude didn't even vote. The guy I'm talking about, but he was a staunch supporter of having dude become president because he felt that Kamala Harris, who was a prosecutor in California, was putting black people in jail, and they were writing laws that were going to affect us, affect black men. And he also was saying, because he has children, that he would get tax breaks from Donald Trump. Well, I was trying to tell him, bro, those tax cuts or the tax credits you were getting for your kids, that wasn't from Donald Trump. That was not anything that he did. And he also mentioned, too, when we got that $1,200 COVID check, the one that Donald Trump insisted that he have his name signed on it, lest he wouldn't sign the bill in order for that to be handed out. People remembered that. He knew exactly what he was doing when he asked for them to put his name on a check. Because all people were doing is thinking, "Oh wow, what a great president! He gave us $1,200. $1,200 fucking dollars didn't go nowhere. It didn't do nothing. It didn't do anything. He needs to create some structure in the government to be able to ease the pain of the poor. But he's not going to do that. The man has turned into goddamn Hitler right in front of our eyes. Elon Musk. Now, it's come out that Elon Musk is autistic. Go look that up yourself. Elon Musk, the South African immigrant, he's an immigrant and he's in the United States, bought and paid for. That man is in the US, bought and fucking paid for it. He bought his way into this country and he has autism, which is not a problem. Autistic people are cool as hell, and nobody should discriminate against them or anything. But you got an autistic man just because and let me tell you what type of businessman he is. Everybody always talking about Trump as a great businessman. No, he's not. He owes everybody. He's been bankrupt 15 times. Elon Musk, though he's never really been bankrupt, he's not. All he is a venture capitalist that knows numbers. None of those companies he created. What he did is Tesla was a fledgling company. It was a company that was needing money. And all he did was buy up all the shares. He's a venture capitalist. He bought up all the shares, became the controlling interest in that company, therefore becoming the CEO and the owner of the company. And then he hired other people. Steve Jobs was the same way. Steve Jobs was hired to be the face of Apple, and people thought he was the one inventing all of the things that Apple was selling, which is far from the truth. The same thing can be said about Elon Musk. He's a glorified venture capitalist that everybody seems to just, turn a blind eye to that. Let's hear some more sound. So basically, Trump is superseding checks and balances, which we learned in government in school. We learned in social studies in school about how the government works. The Senate and the Congress and the Senate are there to check and balance, not only balance the budget, but to check a dictator like Trump. He has eliminated their power. He has basically superseded everything, every legal ramification that could happen to him, and has given power to people that haven't even been voted into office. This place has lost its fucking mind. It has lost its mind. Let's hear some more sound. What the hell? So basically, they're saying they've been talking all this shit all this time about Ukraine be getting money. A lot of people were pissed off. That was one of the things they used to win this election. They got people so wound up. And I even happen to agree that we do send too much money to help other countries that we're allied with, depending on who that country is. All the things happened in Haiti, from the violence and the uprising of the terrorist groups and the gangs in Haiti, and the overthrowing of the government, to the earthquakes and then the typhoons. Hell, we didn't even help Puerto Rico, and Puerto Rico is considered a part of the United States, but yet still we send billions and billions of dollars to Ukraine. Now, Joe Biden and those guys, that's why I think all of this shit is crooked as a barrel of snakes. I think the left is crooked. I think the right is crooked. And the right, or the MAGA, or whatever you want to call this BS now, took advantage of and sued and seceded power by using what they all do politically against the left to take power, to have people were tired. People felt like they weren't getting anything. One lady I saw an interview where one woman was saying, it's a damn shame when they send $10 billion almost every other month to Ukraine to fight a war, and we can't even get any aid in our local city or our local economy. I've often said, just like some other political people that are in the political arena, who happen to be left, leaning, or left government officials, meaning Democrats, about a universal income, uh, or giving back to a certain degree. Everybody knows that this country could give each one of its citizens $1 million, and it wouldn't even scratch the surface. There's only 200 some odd million people in the United States. Now, obviously, a lot of people will come out of the woodworks trying to prove that they're citizens to get that $1 million. Well, if you have the right, if they decide to do something like that, which will never happen, but if they happen to, they could make it to where you have to prove that you were actually a citizen, that you were born here in the United States to get that money. But they won't ever, I repeat, ever do anything that makes sense like that. That money would go right back into the kitty. All anybody wants as a citizen of the United States, which is the reason why Trump won, is to have a livable wage and somewhere to lay their head every night. or at least start a small business so you won't have to kiss the ass of some other business owner who's making millions of dollars but yet don't treat you worth a damn. That's the reason why people walked out of Amazon. Amazon is worth billions and billions of dollars, but yet they have the most unhappy workers that you can find on the planet Earth, and they're constantly walking out and asking for better working conditions. That's America in a nutshell. It's all full of bullshit. It's all full of crap. It's a bunch of fucking people that have a whole lot of money at the top, and then there's a bunch of fucking people a little above the poverty line, below the poverty line, and some that are so far in poverty that you might as well just call them they're in hell, a living hell. Let's continue with some more sound. Now you see, these are all elected officials on the left, the Democrats. They're pissed the fuck off because they know they're losing their voice. They're losing their power to be able to actually do things in the United States. Ilhan Ilmar is one of the people that spoke, and I don't know if she's Ethiopian, but I know she's a Muslim congresswoman, and they hate her guts. The right and the MAGA people hate her guts. They call her terrorist. They call her all kind of vile things. The government of the United States is just at its lowest. It's at the worst it's ever been. And the only reason it's that way is because there's a lot more people of brown skin that are representing this country. But the funny thing is, there's a lot of brown and black people that are on the other side that help this bullshit happen. I don't know how any of those black Republican leaders or those black Republican, I don't even want to call them leaders. I don't know what else to call them. Those black Republican representatives, congressmen, senators. I don't know how you sleep at night. I don't know how you fucking sleep at night knowing the things that you've done. You've actually helped vote fascism in, and it's amazed me. It has absolutely amazed me. I don't get it. And it's a dark day in America when nothing but crows are flying around, just like we're in a graveyard. The idea of America is dead. Can it be resurrected? Can it be resurrected? The crows don't seem to think so. The crows don't seem to think so. But I have to applaud. I have to applaud what these left constituents, or these not constituents, my apologies, those we're the constituents. I have to applaud these left-leaning congressmen and women and senators because they're pissed off. Now, half of it is because their power is being taken from them, and the other half is they actually see democracy starting to wane away and die subsequently in a graveyard in America. So they're trying to make a change. They're trying to do this. They're trying to go and speak out, and they need to go ahead and vote to impeach this guy because they got to get him out of office. And this episode is about all the regret that people are feeling now. That's white people, black people, Asians, all these people who voted for Trump. All of a sudden now they're crying. Oh, I'm losing my job. They're taking away overtime. They did this. They're doing that. Oh, I didn't think he was going to do that. He fucking told you he was going to do that. You didn't believe him. That's all this fucking dude does. Blame, blame, blame. It's everybody's fault but his. He's a sicko, and you guys voted him in. How, why? Why? I have no fucking clue. That man's incredibly dumb. He's one of the dumbest people. I don't give a shit how much money he has. I don't give a damn how many desks he sat behind, how many checks he signed. He's a fucking crook. Every story you hear about him when he goes into business with somebody, they end up getting shafted, getting fucked in the behind without no Vaseline and no lubricant because he's an evil son of a bitch. You heard me. He's an evil son of a bitch. He's the type of person that you can't help but do this when you see him coming. I'm telling you right now, that's what the world is doing. The rest of the world, that's what they're doing right now. They're laughing at us. He's gutting. They're stealing. They're robbing this country blind right in front of our eyes, and nobody's doing nothing. They're gutting the United States budget. They're gutting the United States. They're stealing the money. They're taking it, and they're just running with it. You guys elected a dude that's about to defraud this country for in the 4 years that he's going to be president. He's going to steal millions and millions and millions of dollars and billions and billions of dollars right from under right from in front of you. He's going to jail. There's a new video that I want to play the sound from that. Hopefully, I still got it. But I'll just tell you, Marco Rubio is the Secretary of State in the United States now. He's been appointed as Secretary of State. Marco Rubio took his ass over to El Salvador. The new El Salvadorian president is I guess you could say he's more right leaning. He's more like a Republican. That dude has gone off on the people there in El Salvador. So much so he's created hundreds and hundreds of prisons where he's just taken MS-13 and El Salvadorian criminals, and he stuffed them in these prisons by the thousands. Brand new prisons, so-called state-of-the-art prisons that have packed these guys in there like sardines. Marco Rubio went over there to tour the prisons and was subsequently asked, or subsequently he asked the El Salvadorian president, how's all these prisons working out? He said, they're working out excellent. He also made suggestions that he could, if there was possibility that he could send American or immigrants that they were going to be, ICE were going to be rounding up, could he send those people to him for them to be jailed? And the El Salvadorian president happily obliged him and said, yes, we could do that. The El Salvadorian president decided to further his statement saying, we could take in anybody you want, even American citizens. We could take some of your American prisoners out of your country and jail them here in these new facilities. If you don't believe me, go look it up yourself. Marco Rubio and the rest of these guys are evil incarnate. They are going to destroy the United States of America. I'm only having this podcast because in talking about this, well, I talk about music, hip hop, I talk about everything, but these last few episodes have been very politically based, and they've been that way for a reason because I see a terrible horizon in this country. The horizon in this country looks very bleak. We need to talk about it. We need to also remind the people who voted for Donald Trump, you don't deserve and cannot have regret in that decision. You fucked up. You fucked up. There's no, just like what Tom Hanks say in that damn movie where the women were playing. There's no crying in baseball. There's no crying in baseball. There's no crying in baseball. Yeah, yeah. You can't take that vote back now. I heard there's a rise. There's been a rise in people Googling, how do you take your vote back? Too late. You can't take it back. You can't. You fucked up. You put this psychopath in office with all these kiss ass underlings that he has. Kiss ass underlings that he has. And now we all gonna pay the price for your stupidity for wanting better egg prices. Because that's all I kept hearing from people. Groceries too high. Stop eating so fucking much. I'm a big fucker. I'm 370. I eat like a motherfucker, but I wouldn't bitching about egg prices. They are what they are. And they are the way they are because you got sick fucks like this dude you just helped put in office in there who's not going to save you. If you're a drowning man, Trump ain't he's not going to give you a hand. He's not even going to throw you a life preserver. What he's going to do, he's probably going to do some shit like Bugs Bunny would do and throw you an anchor so your ass will sink faster. All the while all of this is going on, while all of this is going on, this is what people are subsequently talking about. If you didn't know what that sound was, that was Rob Pelinka, the general manager of the Los Angeles Lakers, and this huge trade made between the Dallas Mavericks and the LA Lakers to bring one of the great young stars, Slovenian, if I'm not mistaken, players, Luka Doncic, and a couple of other players for Anthony Davis and another couple of young players to the Dallas Mavericks. Distraction. Can anybody say distraction? That's all fucking, that's everybody, that's all motherfuckers is talking about. All this shit going on in the government, and all motherfuckers is talking about is the Super Bowl and how the NBA. Let me tell you something right now. As much as I like sports and have watched it since I was a kid, and I'll still watch it to this day, that shit is a distraction. You got to know the difference. You got to know the fucking difference. You have to know the difference. That shit is a distraction. While we sitting up here watching who's getting traded to this and that shit don't matter. They're building concentration camps in the United States. They're building concentration camps in Guantanamo Bay to herd not only so-called illegal immigrants, they're talking about jailing American citizens now. They're talking about putting you in jail if your idealism don't align with what the fuck's going on in this new fascist government. Yeah. Uh-huh. But you worried about the Super Bowl. You worried about Kansas City Chiefs. You worried about Luka Doncic going to the Lakers. You worried about what's the kid just went from Sacramento to the San Antonio Spurs. That's all I've been hearing is all these fucking trades. There's demonstrations going on. Now, the funny thing to me is all these demonstrations going on. Hey, what's going on? Best. from France. Shout out to from Best in France. Shout out to my nephew at Negus Freeman in Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you for being here on the Corner Store podcast. It's going crazy over for all the French best from France. Thank you. I'm going to ask you a question. That Perron guy, he's the prime minister of France. He's more right leaning as well. He's also a friend of Donald Trump's. He loves Donald Trump. What's going on in Europe? What is happening over in France in regards to you guys political? Are you guys having problems with the price of food? Are you having problems buying a home there? Obviously it's much different than the United States of America, because the United States of America, we're in absolute turmoil over here. Absolute fucking turmoil. Now, a lot of people would say, well, shit, you sitting there in your little studio and you're making all these complaints and you're saying all these things. You look like you're doing okay. The fuck does what I'm saying have to do as far as my studio? I'm not saying somebody's saying that, but I know somebody's going to watch this video and they're going to say some stupid shit like that. I'm here to tell you right now that man's only been in office. He's only been in office less than a month. He ain't even been in office a month, and he's absolutely turned this country on its head. Best says, yeah, it's same. You got to work hard, though. You know what? I agree with you. You're going to have to work hard even if things were going good in the United States. That goes without saying. And my nephew said terrorists. Well, I think I know what he's talking about. He's saying that the people now that are running this country are absolutely that. They're absolute terrorists. It's the same worldwide, Unc. We're literally living the same life everywhere on this planet. You know, I have to probably agree with you there. I don't consider, obviously, America's not a third world country. And let me let some people understand third world meaning they don't have, health care. It's hard, everything. It's hard for people to get certain things. It's hard for people to get education. Third world countries, at least in a third world country, you can buy a home and actually own that motherfucker. Access to exactly. Third world country. Thank you, Chris. Access to resources is very third world. There's only probably a few hundred third world countries in the world, but they have governments too, and people are running to third world countries because it's easier to live, it's cheaper to live, and the only problem is you have to watch your back over there because everybody's fighting for every little thing. So if you're an American and you got a few dollars coming in, and you move to Thailand or you move to Indonesia or if you move to Vietnam, you better be ready for the local people in that local economy seeing how you live. Yeah, you can get an apartment for $450. Yeah, you can get the internet for $20 a month, maybe less, $10 a month, full blast. But one thing that's going to happen, they're going to see the money that you have because American dollars go a long way in these third world countries. And that's just facts. So if you are going to run, you better run somewhere where you've studied and you understand the dynamics of that. The fact of the matter is, I'm sitting up here talking about people actually leaving the United States because of the shit that's going on here politically. This shit is terrifying people. And just like I said before, this place is turning into a graveyard. It's turning into a fucking graveyard with ravens and shit flying around. You're going to end up in Rio and you'll be waking up in the morning listening to this. A lot of people are running to Brazil, from what I heard. A lot of people. Because, not only do they want to get out of here and live a better life, they want to get a kiss from a Brazilian woman. Right on the cheek. And pay for breakfast. I heard in Brazil you can get a breakfast fit for a king for less than $5. Less than $5. This country has become, how you say, laughable. The sad thing is, my brothers, sisters, little kids, everybody that might watch this show is we're at the crossroads, we're at the precipice of actually going under as citizens of the United States. It's getting to a point where it's almost going to be like Nazi Germany, where they knock on your door and go, "Do you have your papers? Show me your papers." It's getting to that point. It's getting to that point, ladies and gentlemen. Before I continue, I'd like to give some acknowledgement to a local hero of sorts in the before I even get into that, best, one of our live chatters from France. What part of France are you in? You're in Paris, best. I'm gonna just ask you. Are you in Paris, France? He says, or she. I'm not sure, which one it is. Best is not really a description of the person's gender, but they ask. I agree, or they say, I should say, I agree. Back then, you can have a pair of Jordans for $60. I don't know what Nantes means. that I don't know what that means. But he said, yeah, I agree. Back then, you could have a pair of Jordans for $60. Yeah, you try to get a pair of Jordans now for $60. Your ass actually went to Burlington Coat Factory, or you went to Ross and caught some on sale. And I've had that happen. A friend of mine, thank God, found a pair of J's for me and called me up one day. He said, "What size shoe you wear?" I was like 13 half, 14, 15. He's like, "Shit, there's a pair of Jordans down here, you know what I'm saying, for $50." You know what I'm saying? Natchez is a city. Oh, okay, got it. Look at these mother. Look at my hey nephew. You ain't that smart. Shut your ass up. He's sitting up there coming up with all the words or province, a little city. I got you. I got you. You're in a little city. Best says they are in a little city in France. Are you south of France? Are you in the south of France? And you don't have to necessarily tell me the city, but I hear you live in a little province, a little town in France. So your research department's on duty, Unc. I appreciate that. I'm glad you showed up because I do be needing your ass, boy. You be helping out a lot. I appreciate you. Let me get a shout out for Negus Freeman. Let me give him some applause. Shout out to Negus Freeman. Give you some applause, my bro. Hey, shout out to it's on the West Coast. Best says they live on the West Coast in France. So you are in a beach city. That must be beautiful. I wouldn't mind living in France. Shit. Yeah, I'm téléphone français, pas de passaporte, sous. You know what I'm saying? I'm a big fan of Expected Clouseau, even though I'm sure you guys probably like fuck Clouseau. um, I just wanted to know how the other half lives. I lived in Germany for many years. I lived in Germany for about 4 years, almost 4 years when I was in the military, and I got a chance to see how Europe worked. This was in the 90s. Obviously, the mark rate was 3 mark 15 pfennigs to $1. So it was like 3 to 1. So your money went pretty decently far there. I didn't get a chance to venture into certain countries that I wanted to go to. Yeah, Germany is dope. Best says Germany is dope. It is a dope, especially now since the border. See, I was there when the border was up. 144 years. Wait, I'm 44 years old, so I got you. I see you. I'm 58. If you didn't know, so I don't look 58. I look great for my age. Thank God. It's a blessing to get up every day, and I appreciate. As far as I'm concerned, God blesses us so much every day, man. He blesses us so much every day to even be breathing. So when I do this pod and I talk about these things, I'm not bitching or anything. I just believe forever young, bro. Yeah. Oh, I'm definitely trying to be. I just believe that we need to lean in the spiritual part of this more because I know for a fact things is terrible right now. And I'm only trying to make people understand that you can't make these rash decisions like voting your conscience outside your conscience. You can't do it. Awareness is key. Just like my nephew's knowledge is power. You are not. And for those who did, they ask people questions about this. You can go around right now and look at videos where these people are out doing interviews on the street, which I'm gonna be doing real soon, just to show you how unknowledgeable people are and show them pictures and stuff. They ask people, and these are smart people, people that are in college and everything. They asked people, what is the dirtiest country in the world? And most people were saying Africa, not even knowing that Africa is a continent full of different countries. Go look this up. These videos are all over the internet. They're all over internet. Oh, what do you think the dirtiest country is in the in the world? What do you think the dirtiest country is in the world? Oh, Africa. They're fucking stupid. People are very uninformed. People school, and this is all over the world. They talk about how bad the school system is in the United States. Well, guess what? They ask these questions to Europeans as well, and there are a lot of dumbass Europeans as well. And this has not. I'm not trying to talk about nobody. I'm just saying that they're teaching us the wrong things. They're teaching you things that they want you to know, and not what you need to know. You need to know that Africa is not just a jungle and people are living in huts there. There are thriving cities making billions and billions and billions of dollars, but they don't want you to know that. You need to get online. You need to say, let me see all the different cities and capitals in Africa, and you will see thriving, clean countries, not just dirty cities with ghetto. No, some of the cleanest, most beautiful cities are in countries in Africa, all the way from Egypt, all the way down to the Ivory Coast, Botswana. Uganda's made a rebound. Uganda looks absolutely amazing. But they'll have you say that the continent of Africa, there's nothing there. If that's the case, why every fucking country in the world wants to be in Africa, raping it of its natural resources, from precious stones to minerals to oil. China's all up in there. France has been in there for years. The reason why they had the movie Hotel Rwanda starring Don Cheadle was because De Beers, one of the leading French jewelers in the world, had kids as young as 5 and 6 years old in diamond mines digging for diamonds, which subsequently caused a civil war between the Tutsi and other tribes. The dark-skinned tribe felt like the French were treating the light-skinned people in Rwanda better than them, so they started to kill the light-skinned people, the Tutsi, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure about the names. I know I watched the film, but then I didn't really go and investigate, further or look at news reports. But that actually happened. These countries will come into your country and they'll absolutely rape it, and they'll take all of its natural resources and get the fuck out of there once they've gotten all the millions of dollars that they need. That's the world we live in. United States is definitely one of the leading destructors of political structures in other countries, especially a country that's smaller than theirs. And then Ronald Reagan was caught on audio calling African leaders monkeys, saying, will they even wear shoes at the meetings that we're going to have, these political meetings? These men don't give a shit about life. All they care about is money. Money is the most powerful thing to them. Money, keeping money in their pockets is everything to them. Everything. That was sound from Luka Doncic being introduced as a player for the Los Angeles Lakers in this big trade. Best, you said the right thing right there. Africa is great, but you need unity. African countries and African do need to unify. If they were to start to unify, you better believe that white countries, majority white countries, are going to try to stop that unity because they're going to get afraid because they understand that all those countries having a unified Africa where all the countries are working together and keeping their natural resources close to the vest and making absolute money, growing their economies in all these different countries was something they'd have to stop. And you know that. You know that that's something they'd have to stop. My nephew says, or Eastern Europe, I should say. Um, yeah, Eastern Europe used to be very strong, but if you notice, the United States had a big hand in tearing Eastern Europe down to where they were on their knees and had to play ball with the United States of America. This show, I'm sorry and regretfully, I had to say, is a bitch session. I had to bitch about all these people having the nerve to be up in arms about their vote. Their vote subsequently has the potential to destroy everything this place has been built for. They're talking about tearing up the Constitution. Donald Trump said that. They're already taking the power away from senators and congressmen, and they're already taking away checks and balances. And it might actually make this country absolutely die and be buried. I want to thank y'all for coming here today. I really, really appreciate it. I thank everybody for being here. Corner Store Podcast. Hopefully, really, really soon, I'm hoping to have do a live podcast at Diamond Cuts Barbershop right here in my area where I live on Chatsworth Boulevard near here, and talk to some business owners, Hispanic business owners. We're gonna have a cool bunch of topics. One is who actually created the art form or the technology for low. I've already found out the answer to this, and I thought I was right when I was talking to them. Who invented lowriders? And it was a great man. I'm so surprised to find out. I kind of knew. I thought I knew, but I really didn't know. But that's on the next episode 140 of the Corner Store Podcast. Hopefully, we'll be at Diamond Cuts Barbershop right here on Chatsworth Boulevard, very near to the studio, talking to the owners who happen to be some amazing Hispanic gentlemen and businessmen, small businessmen, and also talking about music. Kendrick Lamar just won 5 Grammys. Not Like Us was the highlight of the Grammys. Obviously, the Grammys is also a distraction that we got to realize that all this stuff is a distraction as well. But the Grammys did happen, and rapper Kendrick Lamar did very well. Beyonce won for Album of the Year and Country Album of the Year. And they're up in arms about that. The racists came out the woodworks on that shit. And, Not Like Us was banging. I didn't actually get to watch the show, but I watched a lot of highlights of it. And Kendrick Lamar, I had to give it to you, man. You are the artist of the year this year. You turned hip hop on its head, as it should be turned on its head, because it really was. It's a fledgling art form, and brother, you resurrected it. You resurrected it, and there will be no more crows flying around hip hop. And take notes, all you artists out there, take notes. As a matter of fact, with that said, I'm going to play you guys something that's coming out this Friday. It's a sneak peek of a single that I have coming out. I have a EP coming out real soon called Reality Check. I have one single out already. It's called Woke Up. And there's a second single that will be released this Friday. Look for that on all your streaming platforms. It's called Behind These Scars. and it's featuring me and a hip hop artist from San Diego, California. I'm going to play that on the way out. Thank y'all for being here. And here's Behind These Scars. I'll see you next time on the Corner Store Podcast. Yo, please like, subscribe, send this to somebody, share my pod with somebody, and also hit that notification bell. I'll see y'all next time. Behind these scars, living your life so you really are. Thank y'all.